In the era of the internet, where we have access to the entire globe, compassion is frequently promoted as the best virtue. But have you ever stopped to think about the possible drawbacks of excessive kindness? I realize this sounds ridiculous, but listen to me, fellow Stoic, because there is a lesson from the ancients that we may have missed in our current effort to be the most compassionate versions of ourselves. You see, the Stoics, those wise old souls from ancient Greece and Rome, had something to say about the harmony of while generosity is unquestionably a virtue. Like all good things, it can be pushed too far, and my friends have shown me that generosity can occasionally backfire in unexpected ways. Virtues remain strong, they say, but focus on virtue. Now, before you raise an eyebrow and think I've gone too far, let's go on a journey together. We'll explore 8 unexpected ways that an excess of kindness could just trip us up. We'll delve deeply into the teachings of Stoicism, drawing wisdom from thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. As we go, I challenge you to consider your own acts of kindness. Are they always in balance, or have you, like many of us, occasionally tipped the scales? Give Bell a traditional ring and sign up. Go on, I challenge you. Together, we will find the sweet spot between having too little and too much companionship and navigating the complex dance of virtue. Because sometimes the most important teachings come from the most unexpected places, seekers of wisdom, stick with me as we explore the unanticipated dangers of excessive giving. Taking on too much we've all been there, haven't we? You're at a friend's gathering and someone mentions that they're moving next weekend, and before you know it, your hand goes up, I'll help, but you're already overburdened with your own responsibilities. The Stoics advocated living in harmony with nature, which included being aware of our own boundaries. Overcommitting isn't just about pushing yourself too far, it's also about not being true to who you are. Being a teacup. The Stoics would say, know the size of your cup. It's not about being unkind, but about being kind to yourself first. I'm not saying, don't help your friend move, but perhaps offer to help pack a few boxes, rather than committing to the entire day. The little things often mean the most, and are much more manageable. Every commitment and promise is like a drop of tea spilling too much and creating a mess. Consider the time you promised to help at the school fair, go to a birthday party, and see your grandmother all in one day. By the end of it, you were most likely worn out, agitated, and not really involved in any of the activities. That's the weight of overcommitting, so the next time think about your own abilities first. It's not selfish, it's just sensible to always try to make everyone happy. It's a trap that many of us fall into. You say yes when you want to say no, you laugh at jokes you don't find funny, and you agree with opinions you don't share. However, Stoicism teaches us that we can't control other people's opinions, so why do we always try to make everyone happy? Try people. Pleasuring others may appear to be an act of compassion, but it's usually more about our own fears. Let's face it, it's tiring to continuously put on masks and pretend to be someone you're not for fleeting acceptance. The Stoics believed in authenticity. Be true to yourself, and the right people will gravitate towards you, and those who don't, well, you can't please everyone, can you? I once knew a lovely guy named Tim, but he would go to great lengths to gain approval. One day he wore a shirt he didn't like because a friend gave it to him. He spent the entire day feeling uncomfortable because he didn't want to upset his friend, but the worst part was that his friend didn't even notice. It's said that you can lead a horse to water, but not make it drink. Stoicism, if you believe you can change people, echoes the idea that we have no control over other people, only how we respond to them. But many of us have a large type. Hearts strive to change people. We believe that our love, counsel, and kindness may do so, but frequently they are unable to. Consider that buddy who consistently dates the wrong people to whom you have offered advice. The Stoics believed in focusing on our own actions and letting go of the need to control everything else. It's difficult, especially when you care deeply, but sometimes the kindest thing you can do is step back and let people make their own choices, even if they're mistakes. It's frustrating, isn't it? Because everyone is on their own journey, and while it's nice to offer a helping hand, we can't walk their path for them. 4. Allowing others to take advantage of you. Letting others use your kindness is a beautiful thing, but like all good things, too much of it can be harmful. When we're always kind, always available, and always agreeable, people may start taking it for granted. It's not always intentional, but it happens. For example, remember Lucy from the office. She would always bring in homemade treats, and at first everyone was grateful, but eventually it became expected, and on the one day she didn't bring anything, there were mutterings of disappointment. Poor Lucy felt hurt and unappreciated. The Stoics teach us that things are fleeting, just as we shouldn't grow too attached to external rewards, and that we shouldn't become too accustomed to constant acts of kindness from others. On the other hand, if we're always the givers, we should make sure we're not taken for granted. Be genuinely nice, but also establish boundaries and let people know that being kind is a gift, not a duty. 5. Neglecting yourself. In our efforts to be good to others, we frequently neglect ourselves and prioritize the needs of others, believing that this is the right thing to do. However, Stoicism serves as a reminder of the significance of taking care of ourselves. I've witnessed it happen with my friend Alex. He would always be there for everyone, always putting himself last, until one day he just snapped because he was tired, drained, and felt unappreciated. It wasn't pretty. The Stoics understood the importance of reflection and self-care, because after all, a well-maintained soul is better equipped to handle the challenges of the world. If we neglect ourselves, how can we be of any use to others? Imagine that you're a car that if you don't refuel, you'll end up broken down on the side of the road. Your dedication to self-improvement is evident from the fact that you have watched the entire video. The final 3 insights are much more important, so stick with me through to the very finish. I'll see you at the finish 6. Staying out of arguments at all costs. Staying out of arguments. Nobody enjoys conflict because it's embarrassing, uncomfortable, and just plain unpleasant. Therefore, in an effort to be nice, we frequently avoid it, keep our ideas to ourselves, and swallow our emotions. However, Stoicism tells us that there are instances when confrontation is required. Avoiding disagreement may seem nice in the moment, but it can cause larger problems later. Little irritations can turn into bitterness, and silent emotions can cause miscommunications. When your flatmate kept leaving filthy dishes lying about, you cleaned up after them out of courtesy, but eventually your irritation mounted, and one day you lost it over something insignificant. The Stoics advocated for overcoming obstacles head-on. Dealing with problems before they become problems is more important than picking conflicts. It's kinder in the long run for you and other people, even while being overly giving is a giving too much virtue. But like all virtues, it may be overdone. In our attempt to be kind, we occasionally give more than we can afford, whether it be in the form of money, time, or resources, and even while the goal is noble, the results can be harmful. Consider it this way: the Stoics believed in moderation. It's about finding the balance between giving and keeping. I once knew a woman named Sarah who would constantly lend money to friends because she wanted to help, and it felt good at first. But eventually she found herself struggling financially, and those she'd helped were nowhere to be found when she needed help. It's a harsh but crucial lesson. Be generous but also wise. Make sure your own needs are met before helping others. It's not about being stingy, but about being sustainable. 8. Requiring the permission of others. Requiring the approval of others. Although many people post their good deeds online, the digital age has changed how we view and demonstrate kindness. It's important to consider if we are acting out of true compassion or out of a need for approval. Timeless wisdom reminds us that true virtue lies in our actions rather than in the recognition they receive. Sharing our deeds can inspire others, but it's crucial to ensure our intentions remain pure. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." When kindness becomes a transaction, its authenticity wanes. The Stoics advocated focusing on the intrinsic worth of our deeds rather than looking for outside approval. By acting morally, we embrace the true meaning of virtue. Well, there it is, the convoluted path of kindness with its surprising detours. Who would have guessed it in our world of likes, shares, and endless scrolling? As we stand at the intersection of introspection and action, fellow Stoics, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Have you ever been caught in the trap of excessive kindness? Your stories are the stars that light up this Stoic community, guiding and inspiring fellow travelers on the path of life. Hey, if you've enjoyed our little journey today, why not show some love by hitting the like button? To watch more Stoic wisdom videos, remember to subscribe and remember to turn on the notification bell. You wouldn't want to miss our next video, would you? Until then, always be kind, smart, and true to yourself. Now cheerio, choose one of the videos that will show up on your screen.